Whoops. What's up? Um, my name's Mike. This is All Things Fish, and thanks for tuning in. Close this window here. It's getting a little chilly up in Alaska, but it's pretty late on a Friday night. We'll see if anybody is still up kicking around, and if anybody wants to join in on the stream, then we'll hang out and we'll have a good old time. If not, then we'll move along and find something else to do. But I figured I had some time, come hang out with you folks and see what's happening. So we'll give it a little bit. I'll keep my eye on the stream. I'm going to buzz through a few other things real quick. And hopefully some people pop in and we have a good time. If not, that's okay. No big deal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Go over here and do this. Maybe. And then we'll go over here and we'll make sure that it works. See if I can open the stream up real quick. And we will pin that link. Boop. Right there. So that if there's anybody that thinks they want to chat, they are more than welcome to join. And like I said, if not, you won't hurt my feelings. Like I said, I just had some free time, figured to come hang out and see what is happening. If you don't have notifications turned on, one, I'd recommend that you open up my actual YouTube channel and make sure you go in and customize the notifications so that you get everything. I did drop some shorts earlier, so I'm currently in Alaska. What's up, Mark? Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Like I was saying, I'm currently in Alaska, so I can't stray too far from where I'm staying right now, unfortunately. But I went for a little walk and found just some little nature trails by one of the lakes nearby my hotel and shared some of the stuff that I found there. So, pretty nice little walk. Weather's beautiful for now. Currently in the 50s for the most part during the day. I think today it may have gotten all the way up to mid 60s. Um, it's a beautiful day outside. When the sun was out, once the clouds decided that they wanted to take over and roll in, it did get a little bit chilly, but not terrible. And then on the way back from the lake that I ended up walking around, ran into a little bit of rain. Not bad, just some light sprinkles, so nothing terrible. So power to that. And then when I got back, somebody had already decided to start dinner from the group of folks that I'm with. So came back and there was some fresh grilled cheese and some tomato soup. So that was pretty tasty. All in all, for a day of work, I didn't do a whole lot. Unfortunately, because of the work that I'm up here for, I am constantly attached to this, which means that I have to have service all the time, which in Alaska means you can't really get too far outside of town. So, more or less, sit here and wait for this thing to ring, and then I go do work. But it's been a fairly slow couple weeks up here, which has given me time to hit the gym. We've done a lot of grilling and a little time to catch on some YouTube, doing some reading, a couple different books, and yeah, on call 24/7 basically. So there are we have crews basically. So the jet that I'm on, we have a 3-person crew. So there is another crew. But yeah, we just kind of sit here 24/7 and wait for the phone to ring, which means that for what I'm up here for, They call our phone to tell us to go fly if something's getting weird. So honestly, it's for the better that my phone hasn't rang. But when it does, I get to go do my job, and I love flying airplanes. So that's that. So honestly, the past couple weeks have been more or less maybe an hour or two of actual work. Every day we have to go out to the jet and basically do an inspection on the jet to make sure that it's ready to go if we fly that day. So that doesn't take too long. We usually have a quick meeting in the morning to get whatever news or updates or information is rolling out that may affect what we'll do for work. And then, so after we do our briefing, we go out to the jet, go out to the jet for maybe 30, 45 minutes. Doesn't really take too long. Watch some of the airplanes take off and land and fly by, and then just back to my room. Usually go to the gym and then find some lunch. Take a little break in the afternoon to do whatever YouTube black hole I happen to fall into, and sometimes jump into some streams. Sometimes I'll stream myself. You guys have noticed that I've been doing a few more streams the past couple weeks just because I've had the downtime and I'm stuck attached to my phone in this hotel room. I don't have to stay in the room. We can leave the area, but we just can't get too far away. More or less, if they call and tell us they need us to go fly, we have a certain amount of time that we have to get the jet off the ground by. So that's what I'm doing up here. Hopefully you guys caught the shorts that I posted earlier. I do have some edited content that I'll release. If you watched the Spearfish Canyon nature walk that I did with the waterfalls a couple months ago, I'll find a link for that real quick. But it'll be kind of like that, just something to kind of chill and hang out to. Play in the background. I'll see if I can find some good tunes. Maybe I can convince Riddle to send me a track or something to play in the background. Otherwise, I'll go find something just to chill and relax that is hopefully enjoyable to listen to while you take a little walk through the woods. Did see some kind of cool stuff. The other night, I went out to the same lake. Didn't take any video. Did get a couple pictures. We saw the northern lights, which is always a pretty cool experience. And then we also saw some moose. They were just wandering around. And then today, in the shorts, we played a fun little game. What's that scat? So I'll do an updated short where I actually positively identify the scat because I did have a few comments where people were honestly asking what it actually was. So maybe tomorrow we'll go for another walk. There are some, ooh, that's loud. There are a couple of geocaches nearby. So if you guys happen to be into geocaching at all, gonna go try to snag a couple geocaches. Those will be the first geocaches that I've logged in Alaska, so that'll be fun. Hopefully, find maybe a travel bug in one of them. Sounds like there's a cache that currently has one or two travel bugs in it, so that will be cool to drag those way out back east. Here's the link over in the chat to the Spearfish Canyon kind of nature walk type video. So just something chill, relax, um, something easy that hopefully people find enjoyable. It is time for Matt from fishfam.link to show up. What's up, Matt? Um, Thanks for stopping by. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. We'll chat. We may get into fish stuff. We'll see where the conversation goes with the folks in the chat. Once again, those of you that are around, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. We'll see how it goes. If it picks up, great. If not, eh, nothing but time right now. So, but it is September, so even in areas where it's not definitely getting much colder yet, the leaves are starting to turn. So some of the video that I will post when I get a chance to edit it, you'll get to see some of the leaves turning a little bit here, and you can kind of see that in the shorts. Um, so hopefully that's enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go do it again tomorrow. Find a different spot, and like I said, go find a couple geocaches to check out, and hopefully find something cool. Steven's definitely fallen asleep. You're back on that day shift schedule, so I don't blame you. I don't know if I'll hang out too long. Maybe 30 minutes or an hour if things pick up and people decide they want to chat. That's great. If not, I'm gonna go dig through the depths of YouTube and hopefully put some new information in this old nugget. And if it's not new information, hopefully that it's at least a good refresher on some old information. I've been gone on the road, trying to stay up to date. In this hobby, things have changed drastically, um, but it's a very slow process. So while you may learn, some information or a technique or method that's accurate uh, in the mid 90s, by now, if you don't stay up to date on it, there's so much new technology. I was talking to Ian from Atkins Nature Aquariums, I think, and some of the technology that's involved in not just saltwater. It's more geared towards saltwater because saltwater nerds um, tends to be a little bit more, I don't know, not tech savvy, but they seem to have more interest in the specialty toys. Although most of the equipment will work just fine for freshwater tanks. But there's some really cool stuff out there. And once I get back home for a decent stretch of time and get the saltwater tank actually moving a little bit, we'll get into some of that and hopefully I'll find the resources to acquire some of that equipment and put it to use and let you guys know what I think. So if there's any equipment, freshwater or saltwater, that's out there that's within reason and something that I would actually find useful that you guys are interested in, feel free to ask about it. Maybe it's something I haven't seen yet. Maybe it's something I have seen, but I'm on the wall yet about whether or not it's something I want to pursue. Let's talk about it, and we'll dig into it. There's some crazy stuff out there, particularly with controllers. J Rock does stuff. What's up, bud? Hope you're doing well, man. Like God, Neptune has just gone off the rails with controller technology. And obviously, as things become more integrated with Wi-Fi and apps and computers control and stuff, you can do so much from your phone. You can get alerts. You can set up your controller to uh, you can set up your controller to call your phone if something's getting weird with your tank. Sorry. But yeah, it's crazy cool. Um, I mean, whether it's a temperature deviation, a salinity deviation, water levels, um, yeah, there's a ton to it. Zen Ginger is still awake, probably not for much longer, but she's here. Steph from Aquaria Life. Hello, Steph. Hope you're having a great day. I haven't talked to you in a while, Steph, but I did jump into the last auction that Skipper did. What was that? Maybe 2 weeks ago, I think, where you put up some of those L173s. They look like adults, if I'm not mistaken. So awesome for you to share those. I just picked up a group of 6 juvenile 173s. The seller listed them as 173Bs. I'm not sure that they're quite old enough to grade out yet, I guess, if that's a possibility. I'm not super up on how they determine a B from an A or whatever. From what I've read, it's more or less just a difference in a black and white coloration versus a black and more like a tan or a light brown coloration. Um, but these look pretty good. I snagged the 6 of them. Shipped was 225 at about an inch and 3/4, potentially 2 inches. So they do look good. I shared some pictures in the Discord. I think I also posted maybe on GetGills. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. Um, so I'm interested, definitely interested in getting into those a little bit and growing those out to breed. So I've looked a lot into different breeding techniques for similar fish. And right now, as they need to grow out so that we can sex them, looking into a lot of specialty food type stuff. So try something different, see how it goes, and hopefully long term have some success and be able to continue to distribute some super cool fish out into the hobby. So J Rock got some more train stuff. Awesome, awesome. That's super cool. I've never been Super light. I've never been like big into trains. I think they're pretty interesting. Um, all we get in South Dakota, unfortunately, is the good old BNSF, which is usually hauling coal, corn, or ethanol. So not a whole lot. Some of them haul bentonite. I remember, excuse me, years ago there was a derailment that happened where they flipped over a few cars of bentonite, and that took them absolutely forever to clean up because it's just a mess. Stuff's talking about the L173s, less desired patterning. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a Placo connoisseur. Um, I can tell maybe a slight difference in what's listed as a 173 versus 173B. These are Bs, and for what I was willing to spend, um, they will do just fine for me, and I will be happy and excited to breed them and spread them throughout the hobby. And I got them at a good rate. I understand that they are pretty slow growers from what I've seen, so hopefully I'm able to keep up on water changes and keep some good food in there for them and get them to a sexable size and hopefully start seeing some spawns. I did inch and 3/4 to maybe 2 inches. I don't know if I'm looking at a year to grow them up to spawn or if it's gonna be something crazy like a Calvis where it's like 3 years to grow them out. But we'll find out, and I will keep you guys updated. 236 super whites just spawned. You have figured those out, Steph. Um, you've got those locked down. So whatever you're doing, keep it up because it's working great, and you are producing some super awesome fish. I know I talked to you probably last year about getting some from you. I still would like to get some. It's just a matter of time and resources. And this is one of those things that I didn't necessarily plan on doing with the 173s. But you look on Aquabid and sometimes you find what looks like a good deal. And that's what I was willing to spend. Ended up actually splitting them with a buddy of mine, Pete. If you remember my video when I went down to Omaha, stopped at Pete's place. So he's actually went in on them with me, and we're gonna split them and just see how things go. So if they can't spawn in my tank, send them to his house. If he doesn't spawn them, then we'll consult the experts. um. Anyway, Cora, so you asked a question up here about F-15s. I have never flown in an F-15 myself. Pretty cool jet. Still using some pretty old school technology. I mean, the things were built in like the 70s and 80s, so they have updated them over the years. They are extremely capable. Still a workhorse. Yeah, Air Force uses them a ton, as well as some partners in foreign nations that have acquired F-15s. So super cool jet. Um, that's awesome. So you're working with laser gyros. Pretty much any airplane in the air uses some form of like a Iggy or an INU running laser gyros. So that's awesome that you get to work on that. Pretty cool. Da, 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 da. Uh, Bentonite is using a ton of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if it's honestly like mined, I guess, in South Dakota, or if it's just passing through. But yeah, it was a few train cars full of bentonite goes a long way and makes a hell of a mess. It was an absolute disaster. Da, da, da. Cool, awesome. So, like I said, I for a little while after college, I worked for a company called Poet Biorefining. Yeah, it's well, at the time, I believe it still is the largest ethanol producer in the country, and we shipped out all our ethanol on rail cars. So the old BNSF got a lot of money from us. Not me specifically, but the company in general. Thanks for the love, fishfam.link. Appreciate it. I know this isn't I haven't really done any planned streams lately, so this is just kind of a little pop-up deal. Hang out for a little bit, see what everybody's up to. uh, they are definitely older. So Coro, the jets that I fly, so the KC-135, the ones that we currently fly are late 50s, early 60s models. So they are 60-year-old airplanes, and they show it. Fortunately, our maintenance guys take excellent care of them. So we do the best with what we can, and we'll see what the Air Force Acquisitions Program has in store for us down the road as far as a potential replacement. Obviously, the KC-46 is, the new toy as far as tankers go, and it's slowly getting sorted out as far as, finding bugs and how it fits into the system exactly. So KC-46 is super cool. Basically a Boeing 767. It's like your big airliners with some obvious modifications. But awesome, awesome, awesome airplane. That is super cool, J-Rock. That is definitely an impressive feat, something to be proud of. And you know, every I'll always I enjoy flying the airframe that I fly. It's similar to a 737. Um, but with fighters, I grew up around growing up in the Air Force. I was around fighters all day long. So anytime I hear one, I definitely get caught up stopping and watching. Sometimes hold up traffic. I don't know. Cool. Super cool. J-Rock, I am indeed in the Air Force, technically the Air National Guard. So even the part-timers have full-timers, and more or less I'm full-time, flying around, doing stuff like sitting here in Alaska. Da-da-da. Chicano Azteca, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the stream. I believe you're fairly new to the channel, so welcome. Uh, most of the channel is with regards to actually keeping fish as far as aquariums and whatnot. I do get out and fish a lot, and I will agree that fried catfish is very delicious. Won't turn it down ever. Not a lot of catfish up here in Alaska right now, though. It's a little too chilly. You slap each other with live fish. The things we do sometimes. Always a good time. Always up to have fun and see what shenanigans happen. Yeah, it's a ton of ethanol. Like I said, I think when I worked at the specific plant that I was at, we produced something like 100 to 110 million gallons of ethanol a year, which is quite a lot. Most of the ethanol that we produced actually got put on a train and hauled out to California and then shipped out on boats. So create a bunch of ethanol because it's a green fuel, and then use a bunch of diesel to move it around. uh, I don't know. So it makes sense, doesn't make sense. Whatever. I'll stay out of the controversy and politics here, but see where it goes. Pigment is exactly what you are, stationed out of Wyoming. So I haven't really done any tours, I guess. So being in the guard, we deploy, but we don't get moved to different bases unless we request some sort of transfer. So I have been to a wide variety of bases. I've never take that back. I have been to the base in Cheyenne, not for work. I just happened to be passing through and stopped on base for something. So, but I know Wyoming does have some presence out there. The Cheyenne, I think they fly C-130s out of Cheyenne. So fun fact that most of you probably don't care about, but there are 3 Air Force Air National Guard bases that have C-130s that are equipped with the MAF system, which is the aerial firefighting. So it's a C-130 that they load a bunch of fire retardant onto, and the C-130s actually dump um, the retardant onto forest fires and stuff. So Montana, Wyoming, and Nevada are the 3 bases that have C-130s that do that. So you get some extra cool training, get to see some stuff. Unfortunately, there's an inherent risk associated with doing crazy stuff like that. So Um, it is cool, something I've never done. Maybe someday down the road when I'm done with the Air Force deal, get into maybe like a commercial firefighting type gig. I think it'd be cool. Definitely fun and interesting, and something that very few people get to fly airplanes. Even fewer get to do each specialty that some airplanes are designed for. Oh, cool. That's super awesome. Antarctica would be very cool to go to. The airplane that I fly, I don't think would ever go down there for any reason. There's different aircraft that are specifically equipped with various equipment, like the C-130s from New York. They actually put skis on the bottom of them, and they fly the C-130s down to Antarctica, and the skis help them stay up on top of the snow once they get down there. CW-130 like the fish. Nope, not talking about corridors. Talking about airplanes here on the Fish Channel. But we can talk about airplanes all night. I'll talk about airplanes. I'll talk about fish. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we can make it happen. Coral. Petroleum-based fertilizers for all the corn we use. Yep. Crazy how that works. It's actually funny. So in the United States, uh, whatever company it may be, they all do this. It's a similar process where you basically take corn, you grind it up into flour, you put it into a giant fermenter. So you mix in some yeast and some water, and you basically let it cook and ferment for a little while, and then you distill the ethanol out of the slurry, is what we refer to it as. So the United States makes their ethanol using corn. Excuse me. Brazil has a large, sugarcane industry down there, so they make their ethanol out of sugarcane. So a similar process, but they use sugarcane. Well, some EPA type scientist guy determined that the carbon footprint of sugarcane ethanol is smaller than the carbon footprint of corn derived ethanol. Well, California, and nothing against any of you that may or may not live in California, California likes to use the most green products possible. So, since sugarcane ethanol has a green carbon footprint, California likes to buy ethanol made out of sugarcane from Brazil. So, Brazil makes their ethanol, they put that ethanol on a boat filled with diesel fuel, and they ship their ethanol to California, who pays good money for it because it's cleaner, quote unquote, ethanol. Meanwhile, the United States makes ethanol out of corn. Now, ethanol is ethanol, same exact chemical compound, regardless how you get there. Well, Brazil wants to use ethanol too, but they can make money selling their sugarcane ethanol to California, so they buy our corn ethanol from the United States. So we put our ethanol on a train, put the uh, offload it into a boat filled with diesel. That boat drives all the way down to Brazil. Brazil does the exact same thing with sugarcane ethanol. It drives all the way to California, and they end up with the same exact product that they just burned an absolute shitload of diesel to transport. But all in the name of green carbon footprint. So politics will be politics. Uh, I just made it. I just made it. Wow. Um, Jarek said family member's a medic. So super cool stuff. 3 tours. Um, yeah. So kudos to her because that is flying airplanes is a dangerous game. Uh, doing like combat medic type stuff or going in literally anywhere to pull out whether it's wounded civilians or wounded military members is not a fun game. So mad props to her, and that everybody. I think I speak for everybody. Um, a sincere thank you because that is a tough job, putting yourself in a some gnarly places to help others out. So major kudos, huge props. California's ass backwards on a lot of stuff, Steph. I, I don't know. Like I said, I try to stay out of it, at least on the YouTube scene, just for the sake of grinding people's nerves and not necessarily what I'm here for. But I agree completely. Keith's here from KJE Aquatics. What's up, Keith? It's pretty late. Imagine maybe you're up late working on orders or something. Hope business is doing well. Unfortunately, I won't see you at the Clash this year. I thought maybe I might be able to get out there somehow. It's just not in the cards, so good luck at the Clash. Hope you have a great time. I also saw that you're up at Cataclysm. Looked like an awesome time. Another event that unfortunately this year because of work I did not get to go to. But here's to hoping. Hope things pick up for you. And it has its ups and downs. Unfortunately, generally in the hobby, well, our hobby, summers are usually pretty slow for everybody involved. So hopefully, cooler weather, people are getting back into um, their fish rooms and stuff. So hopefully, things pick up for you, Keith. Hopefully, you do well. Having a beer makes it better for sure. I wish I could join you, unfortunately, because of what I'm doing for work here. Uh, Also, just not happening tonight. Not so green. It doesn't matter, really doesn't matter what industry you look at as far as green energy. Currently, I'm not saying it's not a viable option in the future, but currently there's a lot that goes on with the whole green energy deal um, that that makes you wonder. That's for sure. So it's one of those things where we have to continue developing the technology. Someday we'll get there. It's just they're trying to go too hard, too fast, so to speak. The new light bulbs suck. uh, yeah, we just got a new building at work, and apparently they put light sensors in there that detect the ambient light outside and adjust the actual light output of the lights inside, and it's just a mess. It ends up sitting in the dark, and people just manually override it anyway. They had to put in new windows because of some new government policy. We have to have so much outside light that enters the building. I don't know. Like I said, I'll leave it alone before I go completely off the rails. 100% Coral. Um, one of these days we'll see it pay off. Hopefully sooner than later. But got to keep pouring money into it, and we'll see where it goes. Someday we'll develop the correct technology, but not only the technology, maybe the technology's there, but the procedures that lead up to it maybe need some work. So somebody that gets paid way more money than I do and is far smarter than I am will engineer that process and that whole pipeline and flow and how that stuff works out. Exactly, Coral. Hopefully before we all die. Mexicali Fishkeeper, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? Thanks for stopping by. You kind of jumped into an interesting conversation that maybe is better that there's not a ton of people in the stream right now, or at least somebody else to actually talk with in person because it could get heated pretty quick. Better microwave burritos. You've got me. You've got my attention there. Hopefully, with better technology comes better microwave burritos because who doesn't love a good microwave burrito? Just got off work. Hope you had a good night at work. It's currently about 9:30 here. So you guys in the main states there, it's starting to get pretty late for you. I know Steven and Steven stopped by earlier, Zen stopped by earlier, but they were crashing out for the night. Myself, I figured just pop in for a little bit, see what people are up to. It's still not quite dark out yet here. Almost there. So I'll probably stream for maybe another half hour, and then I think I'm gonna go for a walk or go for a drive and see if we can find a little more Northern Lights action. I was able to see them pretty well the other night. Pretty crazy because it was very faint, kind of like white, light green to your eye, but then you take a decent shot with your camera and you get some pretty cool colors. So we'll see if we can play that game tonight and hopefully get some better shots than I did the other night. Like I said, it was clear to begin with today, and then it clouded up a little bit. So hopefully the clouds were starting to break. Hopefully they push through. For any of you that are into astronomy, stars, planets, stuff at all, I was actually reading a news article earlier, and apparently a Japanese amateur astronomer back in the middle of August actually discovered a new comet. So supposedly, the data that they've looked at right now suggests this comet only passes by the Earth maybe every 400 years. Now, I don't know how they determine that it's a new comet and not something somebody's seen before. Again, way above the IQ that I have. But the night of the 12th, so September 12th, our Northern Hemisphere friends should, if the sky is clear, be able to see a comet. So super cool. If you have a telescope or if you've got a decent camera, you might be able to get a good look at it. I myself, hopefully, if I'm not working, and by working I mean actually flying, am at least going to make an attempt so long as the clouds aren't super bad. We're talking about burritos, and we've got a good person in the chat to talk about burritos. Mexicali said he'd roll some fresh burritos for all of us. Much appreciated. I'll give you my address. We've been doing a lot of cooking up here. Fortunately, we had somebody who had some expertise in making tacos, so we made some carne asada tacos one night, and then we made some pulled pork tacos another night. Super, super delicious. A bunch of dust. Cool. Well, Mexicali, and I don't know how close that storm was to you, but it sounds like you came out in pretty good shape. So glad to hear that everything's safe and you didn't have any problems. I lived in Panama City, Florida for a little bit. We had a couple tropical storms roll through, but usually we're just kind of on the edge of them, so we didn't get any real damage. So we moved there in '96, which is shortly after Hurricane Opal hit Panama City, and then we left in 2000, I believe. And then, of course, the next big one that went through like wiped out most of Panama City. So definitely a bad one. So I've never, fortunately, experienced a full-on hurricane or even a nasty tropical storm. So thoughts go out to those of you that may have been affected by the storm itself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the process, Coral. I don't know. I'd imagine it'd probably take a pretty heavy piece of glass to be able to see details on it to be able to accurately describe the comet itself and be able to positively identify it. So, Sketty Nona's here. What's up, Sketty? What are you doing up so late? So my Iowa friends back home, it is 1 in the morning, and hope you're doing well. Starting your weekend off on a good foot. Sounds like the weather's calming down a little bit out there. Not quite so hot, so it's not Alaska cool, but it's definitely slowing down and cooling off a little bit. Get some of that fall weather. Get outside and enjoy it while you can before we end up with the Arctic blast that we seem to be hit with every year. Yuma, copy. I lived in Tucson just for a short 6 months. Made it over to Yuma one time. I actually, so the Navy base down there at Yuma, or technically the Marines at Yuma, they have F-35s there. One of my work trips this summer, we refueled some of those F-35s to bring them up to Alaska, and then they left as soon as I got here. So, been there once or twice. Probably flew over your house maybe 3 weeks ago. June's here. Only Oscars, welcome. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, guys, I did pin the link to the StreamYard invitation. If you want to come up and chat, you're more than welcome to. I'd imagine for most folks back home in the mainland states, you're probably tucked in bed listening to me put you to sleep. So, totally understand. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Strong winds. That's the crappy part. Like when we were getting ready for the tropical storms, we uh, we were tying stuff down outside. I mean, I was young. I think I was 12. Um, so I was just kind of following dad around outside in the wind. But glad you came out on the right side of things. Rode through two on a ship. Screw that nonsense. Sounds like a mess, Keith. Um, I've never been on a huge ship myself. Um, Someday I'm sure take a cruise with the family, but no desire to ride out a tropical storm, hurricane, uh, anything in a big boat. A different breed. I hear you. They definitely play a big role in the big picture, though. So I'm glad that they're willing to be on a boat because I would not want to be at sea for 6+ months at a time. I've actually got a buddy. He was a aircrew member, and he was on a boat several times, and he said it's just not a great time. So they were on a boat crossing the international date line in the Pacific once, and they happened to cross the line at just the right time that they completely skipped Christmas. So the ongoing joke was that they didn't get Christmas that year. All right, man. I don't. Next time I'm in Yuma, or next time I'm heading down that way, I'll give you a heads up. And you probably don't see a lot of tankers fly over there, so it'll. Well, you've got the Copperheads, the Arizona National Guard, based out of Phoenix, flies KC-135s as well. So you probably see them on occasion. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Uh, Buckle down and ride it out. So I'd imagine due to the storms and the increased swells that there's probably a lot of sick folks on the boat at that point in time. Howdy, June. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Um, I think I've said hi to you a couple times in streams here and there lately, but haven't had a chance to actually, have much of a conversation with most of you guys, to be honest. So hopefully, now that I'm around YouTube a little bit more as we move into the fall time, get to see you guys a little bit more often, catch up, and see how everyone's doing. A lot of Navy heading to Moffat. Don't miss it. uh, Nothing wrong with the Navy, as long as you like being on a boat with a lot of other dudes. Ugh. Anyway, what have you been up to, June? Hopefully staying busy. Hopefully having good luck with your Oscars. Been watching, catching a couple of your videos here and there when I can. Um, Past couple weeks I've been able to fortunately catch up on kind of what's going on with folks a little bit, and some cool content being produced out there. Haven't been in a ton of streams, but doing what I can to catch up, stay somewhat involved with the community a little bit. So, yep. I mean, my plane is fairly large, but it's definitely dwarfed. I actually have a picture on my phone. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. I'll see if I can find it. Um, but I was in Germany a year and a half ago, and we walked out to fly our plane one day. And there was a C5 on one side of our plane. Our plane was just pretty decent size, and then a 747 on the other side, and it just made our plane look like a tiny little dwarf of an aircraft. So that was humbling. See if I can find it real quick. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe I can send it to myself, and then I'll share it on the screen here. I'm not sure it's on my phone. Let's take a look. Yeah, like I said, June. I was kind of a little bit of an Air Force brat when I grew up. So I grew up around air shows and seeing airplanes all day. So I'm a little bit partial. Um, but even then, growing up around them all the time, I still get excited every time I see a cool airplane. Always a good time. And there's so much different. I mean, so many different airplanes out there. I do indeed fly a gas station, June. You bet. Uh, the mighty 60-year-old KC-135. Ton of fun. I was trying to find a picture, but can't find it right now. I'll find it later. I'll post it on Discord or something. Yeah, there was, so, well, I would say there's a lot of it, but I mean, there are a lot of Air Force brats around still. But as the military continues to decrease in size year over year, there's fewer and fewer Air Force brats. Um, and it seems like I know they've had a lot of recruiting problems the past few years trying to get people to sign up. So it looks like we're going to go down the road of continuing to see fewer and fewer Air Force brats, which I I mean I think it's not an easy childhood to grow up through, but it definitely I enjoyed it. I think I learned a lot from it. Definitely hard on the family, but that being said, it's hard on the family, and at the same time, you get to experience and go through a lot of super cool stuff that most people never get to do. So, Coro hates air show. Noisy, noisy. So, like I told most of you guys in the Discord, actually flew a small airplane, so a Cherokee 140's little four-seat, tiny little single prop job into Oshkosh, which is the more or less biggest air show in the United States. So that was super cool to see. A lot of fun. I believe it, Keith. We are definitely pampered. The boys in blue are definitely taken care of. For the most part, none of us sleep in the dirt. We got air conditioning, we have Wi-Fi, we stay at nice hotels. So I have no complaints. Like I said, kudos to to those folks that have played that game. They've got some cojones, and their efforts and sacrifice are definitely much appreciated. June said, "You got to touch a black plane in the '60s." I'm not sure exactly which black plane you're talking about. Um, that's pretty like back then. That's a big deal. Even now, it's a pretty big deal. So somewhere in here, I recently got to refuel a black plane myself. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but photos out the back of my jet, refueling a black jet. So kind of cool. Not many people can say that they've refueled that particular plane. So pretty neat to get to do. A vacation in Air Force Base, you bet. Even by military standards, the Air Force has pretty good living conditions. So I know a lot of the folks from the other branches don't mind coming to Air Force bases to hang out because usually have pretty decent facilities. And those of us that are spoiled brats in the Air Force, we get upset when we're staying on base. Yeah, June, send me a message and we can talk about it some more. Um, I haven't been to Yokota myself. I was supposed to go to Yokota one time and ended up in Kadena. So Kadena's not bad. Pretty big place. Who's this guy though?
So,
What's up, dude?
what's up, bro? I was just
Hey,
in
how
the
you doing?
settings. Not
What you been up
much.
to?
I'm all right. How about
I
you?
haven't actually talked to you in forever. Doing
Yeah,
all right. Hanging
not
out in
much.
Alaska right now. So still grinding away. How's the
Any
fishing?
people in the chat? Do you know where I'm at? People in the chat don't know where I'm at.
Where is he?
He's cooking
Oh, what's he making you guys?
seafood feast. Crab, lobster, shrimp.
Lucky guy. So look at all the tanks. Do you recognize those tanks, June? I know whose fish tanks those are. Most of you guys probably do. Although I haven't seen him stream like he. It seems like he used to stream a lot. I haven't seen him stream a ton, but like I said, I haven't been on YouTube too much the past few months either.
Yeah, no, he doesn't stream too much anymore.
Yeah.
And this stuff here is like a never-ending cycle. I don't think I've ever seen them empty.
Oh, really? Just keeps them going, man. Hey, that's fucking. It's an easy trick. I think every fucking big breeder outside of Plecos is probably running hatcheries 24/7. But those of you guys in the chat, that is George's house, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, June. Yes, it is.
So awesome. You've been hanging out with him much this summer?
Pretty much every weekend.
Yeah. So, well, hell, since you have to move your fish room, you might as well just move your stuff to his house for a little while until you're done and let him take care of it.
Oh, I'm gonna move some stuff over here. Um, yeah, I might do that tomorrow. I need him to take in all the Epistos I have. I actually don't have too much he's gonna take in. Pretty much Epistos. I think I'm gonna try to keep my betas I have going.
What betas do you have right now?
I have the gladiators and then the macrostoma that George bred I have right now.
Oh, really?
I still have like however many he gave me. I don't remember if it was 12 or 13, but however many it was, that's how many I have. Or at
Awesome.
least
Well,
last time I counted, which was a couple weeks ago.
yeah. Is he still breeding those Avatar angels that he got a couple years ago?
I don't think he's breeding the avatars anymore. What did he do with the angels? There's baby angels somewhere here.
Are you going to give us a tour of George's fish room while George is making dinner?
There's these angels.
Hold on. I'll make it.
Let me flip the. Oh, hold on. Let me flip the camera around. Oh,
Oh boy. Slowly.
ah, here they are, right in front of my face.
All right, now we can see. Uh, he's got a few in there. What variant are those? Do you know? Does he have them like labeled or anything?
I
He's
don't
got a certain
know.
fish.
He always tells me a lot of stuff, and then it's like I always forget because it's too much info at one time.
Oh yeah.
He's got these
Uh,
things. I think they might be these. I'm not sure. They might
okay.
be.
Is that like a? I mean, I'm not up to date on angels really. Is it like a high coverage koi almost?
I don't know, bro. That's a George question. Anything about George's fish are George questions. I can tell you what these are. They might come home with me.
You just said you're tearing your tanks down. How can they go home with you?
I'm not tearing the ones down in my room.
Oh, okay.
So I have my what were the shrimp cubes? I think I'm gonna put some neons in there.
Okay. Let me see. Coro asked what Anthony you are. This is Anthony from Anthony's Fishy Friends, who hasn't streamed in like 5 years now. But
Hasn't been
uh,
5 years, bro.
it's been a long time,
Yeah, I know.
far too long. Back in the day, we used to have some good late night streams
It's not
between
all
you
my
and.
fault.
Oh, I didn't say it was your fault. Between you and Davo, we used to be up until god awful hours of the night.
Looks like we have some Incas here, I think. Oh no, not Incas. What are these? Oh, I'm gonna have to ask George what Epistos these are. They almost
You
look
got
like Incas.
that would be my rough guess, but I'm not.
Oh, he has some other ones in here too, I think. Yeah, he has a couple different ones in here.
Awesome.
None of them are breeding size.
I've had Epistos spawn. I've never actually raised any fry from any Epistos. But I mean, back when I had them spawning, it was kind of a chore to get rid of them because not many people were keeping them at the time. So I just kind of just let them go.
Yeah, some stuff. There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't really know what it is.
That's some Fungula Panchax killie right there. I'm not a huge killie guy. I can
I'm on with Mike.
Fungula Panchax, but that's it.
Mike. Here, everyone, say hi.
George, hey, what's up, man?
He can't hear you because I have my earbuds in.
Oh, well, tell George I said hi.
Say hi to everyone.
Oh, it's dinner
This is
time.
an England. We show them the whole plate. That's awesome. Go ahead, bro. Grab it.
Hey, George feeds me. George is awesome. Thank you, bro.
I just made the whole shebang sauce. I hope you like it.
It looks delicious.
Got some black Moscows up here.
So now I had recently been looking into to add more guppies, and I haven't looked a ton. Do you know the difference in like an American blue and a blue Moscow? There's got to be something with the coloration, I'm guessing. But
I don't know offhand. I would have to look at both of them side by side. But oftentimes it's there tends to be a little bit of a different color the more you breed one, and then a different breeder will start to call it something else.
yeah,
So
is that like a Mac Master Eye there, or am I way off?
no, I forgot what these ones are.
They look pretty good though. They're fry in there. I thought I saw fry.
Yeah. You kind of see them floating around.
Super cool.
I mean, George has some really simple setups. I mean, it's really not elaborate. And dude has massive, massive success. So, I mean,
right? No, I like his setup. His reminds me a lot of mine. Just simple, fairly low maintenance. But he breeds way more fish than I do.
has a lot more time.
He has a lot more fish than I do too. But more killies. How many tanks does he have up and running right now?
Oh, shoot. I don't even know. 1, 2, 3,
It's gotta
4,
be close to
5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. See 21 right now in here, but that's not counting the house. Oh, 22, 23, 24, something like that. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Awesome.
Somewhere between 20 and 30.
Yeah, they all look like they're in pretty good shape. If I tried to run 20 tanks right now, they'd all look like smashed ass.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened when I did. Live and learn, right?
June wants some of his angels.
I'm not the one to ask.
I bet he could probably ship you some, June. I think
I
he's
don't know.
pretty good
Maybe
for
I'll
that.
just do this,
Yep,
put them in
maybe
my
I'll-
pocket.
Yeah. Well, you already said you were taking his tetras home. So what's a few angelfish?
All right, bro. Switch the camera back. I'm gonna turn my camera off for a bit.
All right. Eat your dinner.
So I heard you say something about a air show.
Yeah, we were talking airplanes and stuff. That's
Nice.
we're talking about air shows. So we had a jet, one of our jets, set up as a static display at an air show in South Dakota not long ago this summer. but I happened to fly a small plane into Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which is north of Milwaukee, about an hour. It's the basically airport for a week because it's just one. It's an air show in itself, but it's also a fly-in, so you can fly your airplane in, and then they just park them all in the grass. And we set up a tent by our plane and just camped there for a couple nights and watched the show. They have different planes that, like whether it's a demonstration or a static, that comes in, and they change out throughout the week. So you get the longer you stay, the more stuff you get to see. So uh,
Cool.
unfortunately, one night there was a wicked thunderstorm that came in. So about for an hour and a half, we sat in the tent and listened to about 40-mile-an-hour winds and rain beat up against the side of it. But oh well, it was nice during the day. Supposedly, they said, like I said, it's a week-long show. They said they counted 670,000 people roughly throughout the week,
What?
and the town itself, when the air show's not going on, I think the population of the town is like 60,000. So it's it's a pretty drastic shock for the town. I mean, they've been doing Oshkosh there in that town for many years, so they're used to it. But it's got to bring a ton of money into that place.
I wonder what percent of people hate it though.
Oh, I'm sure that's just like the Sturgis Rally. If you're into motorcycles, Sturgis, I mean, is a population town of like 10,000 people, and during rally week
Oh,
it explodes. That's a little bit rowdier crowd though. Well, at least it used to be. Anymore now, the party at the rally is out in the campgrounds outside of town. But
well, at the last Sturgis, wasn't there a shooting?
there's shootings every year. hmm That happens. So
I mean, yeah, I get it. You know, it's like all of South LA. You go to certain parts and it could still be pretty rough, but it's nothing like it used to be.
as it,
It's been gentrified to all hell,
oh really?
um, which I don't necessarily like because now, you know, you've got a lot of gang members everywhere,
Right.
you know, and you don't necessarily know who they are or what they are or what.
Yeah.
So instead of them being a little more confined, now they're a little more everywhere.
They're just all over the place. Yeah. That's unfortunate for sure. Why point out Sturgis? Just because I literally live, I've lived within 20 minutes of Sturgis for a good portion of my life. So I've been there plenty of times, had a lot of fun there. It's a good time. I don't ride myself. My dad and my brother used to have bikes, but they got rid of them 2 years ago, I think. I don't personally ride, but I like to go look at the bikes, and there's always good concerts and good shows going on everywhere. So Sturgis is a lot of fun.
Oh, cool. So you've been to the rally a few times?
Yep. So usually try to get out there every year. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. June said she's got family that goes to Sturgis. It is a good time. Anymore nowadays, like it seems like it's kind of tamed down a little bit. A lot of people, instead of like camping or something, they do Airbnbs. So a lot of folks that
What?
live in the area around Sturgis, they literally just rent their house out as an Airbnb for the week, and they go on vacation. So, my parents' neighbors, I lived there at the time, but my parents' neighbors now, they decided to rent their house out one year during the week of the rally, and they came home, and the house was super clean. Like people took great care of it, but they went to open one of the silverware drawers when they were making dinner one night, and there's a bag with some green in there. I'm like, oh well, all right. I guess that's a tip maybe for letting them use the house. I don't know. But
Hey, no time, no price better than free.
but it's super. I mean, it's interesting to go to the rally. Like you can go hang out at like the airport, and you'll see like doctors and lawyers get off the airplanes. In the airport, they'll go into the bathroom. They'll change into jeans and a leather jacket or whatever, and then they'll pick their bike up in the parking lot because there's just shipping trucks Shipping trucks will load up all the bikes, and you just ship your bike out there, and you fly out, and you just pick up your bike right at the airport. So, Coro asked a question a minute ago about advice for pothos. Any advice for pothos trimmings? Don't like waiting for them to grow roots. Hurry up and wait. Sorry, guy. That's about all I got. I don't personally put pothos in my tanks. I have before.
Low
Black.
TDS, lower pH shrimp tanks do super well.
Yeah.
If you're
Plastic.
going to root them in just a container, like a cup or something, make sure you change the water at least every other day, I'd say, for the best results. You want to change the water.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that. So clean water, lots of nutrients, and then blast it with light. So the more light it gets, the faster it'll grow, and then you should see those roots grow a little bit quicker if that's what you're after.
Yeah, and better the light, better the results. On my shrimp cubes, I have Kessels, and I mean, any plant I put in there roots in no time.
Kessels on a shrimp cube is cheating. That is.
What are you talking about?
That is a ridiculous amount of light for a cube. Beautiful.
Bro, what it does is just gorgeous. I mean, those tanks look like trash right now because I haven't taken care of them. But
See, I haven't used a Kessel myself. I know a lot of people that have. They seem to have a reputation, and I guess I haven't personally noticed it, but for not growing reds well or not displaying reds well, maybe. Have you noticed anything with that, or do you not really have red plants in your shrimp tanks?
I did have some pinker plants, and that was growing. I had a pink flamingo in there that was growing nice and pink. Like I said, right now it looks pretty trashy though.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And yes. Oh, right now there's red crystals in one and black crystals in the other.
Awesome.
That was more just to have shrimp in there because I did at one point have the royal blue orange. Oh man, I even forgot what they were. You see, I've been out of the game forever.
The orange eye blue.
The royal blue tigers, orange eye royal blue tigers.
I've always wanted some. I've just never pulled the trigger on getting them. But right now I have reds and yellows for Neos, and then I have a mix of it's blue bolts, but I haven't called any of the whites out. So there's a decent mix of whites in there right now. So, but that means I have to set up another tank, and right now, as I've been gone for work, setting up a new tank is not a great idea. I don't think the wife would be super happy about it. Like, congratulations, here's the new tank. I'm gonna go on the road for 3 weeks. Good luck. Can't have only one tank. Yeah, you got that right. I actually started the first shrimp I ever kept was probably 2005, and this is when cherry shrimp were like you were like, holy crap, it's actually a red shrimp because they seemed bright at the time, and now you look back, you're like, wow, I had a mostly clear shrimp with a red tint to it. But I started. It was a 2.5 gallon tank that I just kept on my bed, no heater, in the basement, so the temperature was probably between 68 and 72. Tap water, which is probably 350 to 400 TDS, and just a desk lamp. And I bet I had in that 2.5 gallon tank, I probably had 200, and then moved them to a 10. And at one point in time, I bet I had close to 1,000 shrimp in that tank.
Ooh.
So it doesn't take much. It's weird. The price of Neos, I think they're coming back down now. But like Neos got super popular a few years ago, and all the prices went up like stupid high. Like you used to be able to get pretty nice cherry shrimp for $1 or $2 a piece shipped, and now a decent cherry shrimp is going to cost you $3, $4, $5. Unless you
Yeah, especially depending on where you go.
Yeah, and then you go to a local shop and you're looking at $6 or $7, and most cards are like $15.
Yeah, neons have definitely gotten crazy. All the cherry shrimp, all the different colors.
Right. June said she started with a Skittles tank. Now she has 10 tanks. So I like the different color variations. I mean, it's there's the color variations are cool, especially when you get like a couple really nice specimens. The tanks themselves, I don't know. Sometimes I get bored with them. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of activity in it.
I do like Caradina a lot more than Neos, though. I like how you could have a couple different kinds in one tank, and they, if you choose the right ones, they won't necessarily, interbreed or whatever.
Right. I was talking to Tim from Crypt Keeper. I'm gonna do a stream with him. Right now we're talking either Monday or Tuesday evening. I'm gonna pick his brain about shrimp because I've been out of the game for a while and I'd like to get into some of the details and finer points, particularly on the different Caradina species. Because like you said, now we have so many different Caradina species that you can keep them together without interbreeding.
Yep.
Coro said he wants to put an actinic light on a blackwater tank. I don't know if it would grow plants well. Plants, I don't know, don't really use, well, they do use blue. I think you'd get better growth
I
with
think
that.
it would be a algae, more of an algae tank.
Yeah, I think you'd just see, other than the fact that it, like with the tinted water, it'd give you a weird mess. As far as aesthetics go, I think you just see better growth, but just a plain white light on there.
If you really want it for just your viewing, I would put it on, like if it really makes a difference, I would put it on just while you're viewing it and have a regular light the rest of the time.
Um, you can put tangerine tigers with Neos, you bet. So I know several people that have played that game and without any problems. I heard back in the
Well,
day, there was a rumor. I don't know if it ever became substantiated or if it's even a thing that cards were more aggressive towards Neos, and some people said they had problems keeping them together. But I've never experienced it. Um, Daylights don't penetrate very well for growth.
Kessel, Kessel,
I mean,
Kessel.
I would say if you're looking for penetration, it's more about par than color itself. You'll see better results with more par, and particularly like in a blackwater tank, where you're getting some tint in there, so you might have like a little turbidity or a little bit of cloudiness to the water. If you use a single focal, like a
Oh, there's so much food in there. There's
spotlight
more,
like
bro.
Kettle,
Please help
uh,
yourself.
you'll get a cool beam that you can see, because of that
Oh,
turbidity. You'll see like the actual beam
still,
in the sunlight. So
All right, bro. I'm gonna hop back in the chat.
all right, Anthony.
Thanks for having me, bro. We got to set up a saltwater stream though soon.
Yeah, I'm talking to Ian wants in. I'll hit up Gina and we'll do some saltwater stuff one night.
Sounds good.
Be a good time. Thanks, bud.
Cool. Later.
See ya. A reef quality light? I don't know. What's considered reef quality anymore, I guess. Um, a lot of reef lights have been tweaked. If you look at like the Prism by Nylock G, it used to be SB Reef Lights. I think it's under new ownership, but I think they kept the name. We used to just call them shitbox reef lights. It's just a cheap light that throws a ton of par. The Nylock G Prism is more or less an SB Reef light with some modifications just to get a little bit more of a freshwater aesthetic and better growth. Can't go wrong with 6500 Keith. So if I could actually afford to run T5s anymore, I would definitely run T5 HO lights. A couple 6500s, a couple 10,000s, and that's my sweet spot right there. What year is it again? The early 2000s, Coro, before LEDs, let alone cheap LEDs, and by cheap I mean affordable. My very first Planet tank was a 29 gallon with an undergravel filter as well as an Aquair 70, and I had it was a 65-watt Coral Life compact fluorescent Keith. So had good luck with it. That's what got me into it. So while I would never uh, never run them myself anymore, likely I mean you can't find bulbs for it unless it's somebody's stash, but it had good growth. They get hot though. Those damn compact fluorescents get damn hot. It depends, Coro. So just like we have like plants, there's different plants like crips don't need a whole lot of par. Whereas if you want good color out of some of the other plants, you need higher par. You can grow a lot of corals in what would be considered low to medium lighting in the planted world. So looking at that 30 to 50 par range. If you want to keep some of the tougher corals and clams, you're going to get up into, 100, 200, 300 par. But just depends. You can have a super cool reef tank with some awesome corals without putting a ton of light on it too, just like you can a planted tank. So tends to be the softer corals tend to be a little bit more lenient as far as requirements go with regards to lighting and water quality. So if you do like a pally garden or a little zoa garden and some mushrooms, you can have a ton of super cool colors without a ton of light on it. Yeah, that was um, yeah. I used to be able to find stuff like that, and now everything's LEDs, and it's hard to find deals like that. Even Craigslist finds where they're remodeling or something, which is unfortunate. Luckily, LEDs have come down in price, and you can get some decent quality light for not a ton of dough. June likes her flue balls. Um, Flue ball makes it's a solid light. It just doesn't have a ton of output. So if you're not looking for a ton of par, a flue ball is a great option. I haven't seen one of the new co-op lights in person. Looks like it's probably on par with like an Aquaneat or an iCrew or Higer, but I don't know. Time will tell. It's always interesting to see new products come out on the market. And I'm not picking on any product or any brand or company in particular, but you'll see a new product come out on the market, and due to the way that companies are advertising um, with social media and product reviews and stuff now, everybody says it's awesome, even though it's only been on the market for a month or two, and then it's about a year or less later. A lot of the time, you see a bunch of problems with some of the products. So I don't know. It's hit and miss. Unfortunately, the reviews that you see are still lopsided because everybody gave it a great review when they first got it, but they don't go back and update the review or give a second review, down the road after they used it for a while. So, um, but if you're into growing things, a lot of companies actually, well, several companies, such as if you remember Build My LED, which was geared largely towards planted lights. They made some awesome planted LED lights for a while, pretty sought after for quite some time. They found out that it's a much more profitable field to be in to sell grow lights for pot. So they pretty much switched over to exclusively selling lights geared towards growing in your basement or greenhouse instead of aquariums. So kind of a bummer to see a great company like Build My LED leave the hobby itself. But they found their niche in another market and they're doing well. So kudos to them. Rapid LED used to be a lot of aquarium light fixtures, more geared towards the reef side of things. But they also sell a lot of growing lights now. So it's cool to see the technology expand, and I think as fortunately as these lighting companies get into creating grow lights and advancing their technology, that bleeds over into the aquarium industry, which is honestly less profitable. So we benefit from them growing and integrating that technology into our own lights that we use for our stuff. So everybody wins. It's always a good thing. So June's into growing things, so then you probably know what I'm talking about. Oh, anyway, we'll probably give this 10 more minutes. It is currently just about 10:30. It's getting pretty dark outside, so I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to roll outside. Hopefully the cloud cover's gone, and see what I can see. Hopefully get some decent pictures of the northern lights while I'm up here in the great white north, which fortunately for me is not white right now. All right, Keith, we'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Always a good time talking with you. Hopefully we will catch you another day. But Northern Light stuff, oops, that's not gonna show up very well. So, theoretical plan for next apartment is to put racks of tanks inside with a grow tent with a real grow light. That would be interesting. I'd be curious to watch that build, see how it comes together. And this right here is always the factor. Resources, right? Time or money. Seems like a lot of us either have one or the other, but not always both at the same time. So I totally get it. Totally get it. It's pretty awesome, June. Let me see. Give me a second. Let's see if I can just buzz one of these pictures over to myself so that I can show you guys. I'll do this. Pop over here. See if I can pop this up so you guys can get a look. I'm not sure how well it'll display, but I'll give her hell. Eventually, maybe. Still working on this. The last, yeah, you and me both, June. I hear you. Which is good. I mean, it's good. It's just you know, a side effect and happens to all of us. You can definitely tell. There's obviously some people that prioritize hobbies over some bills, and that comes back to bite them in the butt. So poor financial planning on their part. Not much we can do on our side. None of our business. So let them do what they're going to do. That is the way you should prioritize it. And it's unfortunate. God dang it, seeing some people get caught up misprioritizing things, in my opinion, and they end up in a tight spot. And sometimes they decide to, try to find that money elsewhere. I mean, we all fall on hard times. I'm not calling you out, Coro. So it's a tough spot. Not a fun subject to talk about, and we don't always have that discipline like you're talking about, Coro. So come on, try to make this work. See if it works. Do. This laptop's killing me. Need to get a new laptop, guys. Try to share this so you guys can see. Coral, by the way, I forgot to message you back. I did get a response back from Paul about those food cultures, and he doesn't list Grindel worms on his website just because he says he can't keep up with them, but he did say that he can hook you up with a Grindel worm culture. So I'll go ahead and get that scored away so that we can get that sent over to you, and so you can get your foods going. And then SC Catahoula also messaged me today, so I will get both of your guys' cultures out, and hopefully you guys have good luck with them. So maybe make this bigger a little bit. So there's the lake that you guys saw some of the footage from earlier today is a short walk from my hotel. So this is one of the photos I took the other night with some of the northern lights, just so you guys get a little teaser. I'll go through some of the others. I just all I have with me is my cell phone, which is cell phone camera technology these days is absolutely insane. So you can still get some pretty cool shots like you can see here. I do wish I had my big DSLR though. So I'll be doing the same thing, Coro. I plan on doing some videos as well as some live streams, set up cultures. So probably when mine come home or when I get home, I'll have mine shipped to me, and then I'll make kind of a setup deal, a little unboxing video of the stuff that I get from Paul. Talk about the cultures themselves, talk about starting the cultures, and ideally follow them through their progression, and get some data more or less, I guess, on how long it takes from receiving your starter culture from him until it's feedable, and then we'll split the cultures and we'll kind of follow it along long term. So that'll be kind of a slow moving series, I guess, if you will. Oops. But yeah, I think it'd be a cool series. And I was actually listening to a podcast earlier. You guys know I listen to a lot of Scott Foreman's podcasts. He was actually, it's funny that I just did a stream on live foods and then he did a podcast on live foods. So definitely, trying to push live foods a little bit. I think it's something everybody can benefit from. It's not for everybody, but there's definitely obviously large rewards there if you're willing to put in a little bit of work. And in the end, it'll save you a lot of money on fish food because food culture, food, live food culture starters pretty much stay the same price they have for years because they're so easy to set up. But prepared foods just keep getting more and more expensive. It is pretty cool, and that's why I'm gonna give this a couple more minutes here, and then I'm gonna roll my happy butt outside and see if I can see him again. Hopefully it's not too cloudy right now. Even with a little bit of clouds, you can still get a pretty good show though. Um, it was cool to see in person, June. It's definitely more visible, I would say, in in photos. Just the actual sensor itself picks up more colors than you actually see with your human eye, which is crazy and neat to see. It's like I said, it's still pretty in person, but it doesn't look as cool as the photos for sure. So look and see what the sky coverage looks like right now. Yeah, it's calling scattered right now, so hopefully we have good luck. I'll report back and let you know what I find. Definitely more food, less money. So I'd imagine with Oscars, June, you're probably feeding something quite a bit larger. With Oscars, you could probably do like, I mean, I'm not sure if you're running live foods right now or not, but if you had like a breeder tank, convicts or guppies running, that would be pretty cool. Um, Otherwise, you do like earthworms would probably be a good one for Oscars due to their size. I bet they'd probably enjoy earthworms if you haven't done that. Stuff like waxworms, mealworms, superworms would probably be all uh, fairly easy to culture. Just take up a little bit more space, but probably see some pretty awesome stuff still. Did anyone see the comment? I haven't looked tonight. The comment that I mentioned earlier in the stream is supposed to be visible on the 12th, so Tuesday night. So hopefully we have good luck with that. At least somebody in the old fish fam. If you look, I don't know if I can blow this. I'm gonna try. I don't know if it'll work. Sorry. Oh crap, it's not gonna work. Split this like this. If you look in this photo, you can actually see the Big Dipper. I'm trying to make it bigger so I can show you guys. So the Big Dipper is actually in the middle of the photo. It's not going to work the way I wanted. In the middle of the photo here, where that if you look at the green lights, it goes up and then back down and up to the right. You can see the Big Dipper there. So pretty cool. Said I not the best shots, but still something super cool to see. So and fun to share, show people that don't get to see it very often. I know obviously some people are geographically challenged, like myself, most of the time. So oh yeah, there's tons of stuff. So the options are endless. Based on the size of the fish that I'm feeding. I haven't looked into some of the bigger type food cultures, but Coro seems to know a lot about them. So maybe we need to have Coro on the next stream where we talk about live foods. So bug tents and lights, that would be cool. So I think even like I was talking on the stream the other day, stuff like Drosophila, just flightless fruit flies. I feed I feed some of those to my fish that are large enough to take them. So what's a bug tent? I don't know. That's a Coro question. What's a bug tent, Coro? Is this like a culture basically a culturing setup kit? Like is it contained in like a box that you can put in a room and it's just like self-contained system? Because that would be pretty neat. So we'll put Coro on the spot for a minute. He can teach us about bug tents. Da, 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 da. Pacific Northwest redworms bug tent. Bug tent. I mean, I'd imagine it's exactly what it sounds like. When I think of a bug tent, I think of something to put over like a hammock or a tent. So I'm honestly not sure. Coro wishes they knew more about them. That make it happen. Built around a frame. Oh, yeah, I'd imagine, dude. Just like something for butterflies. All right, cool. That's an interesting setup. I said I don't currently have anything that could probably use that to feed um, live anyway, just because of the size. But I think you'd probably have good luck if you wanted to culture like some black soldier fly larva or something like that. Using that tent system, you could probably mix that into some Repashy. I think that'd work out really well. Get some more natural protein and enzymes and all sorts of goodness in there. However, mom found him. But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by. Um, Lurkers, I appreciate you if you're catching the replay. Hopefully, you found something useful, whether it's information or entertainment value. Either way, I appreciate you guys watching. June, Coro, I think Keith bounced. Everybody that stopped by to hang out and chat. Anthony and George, hope you guys enjoy your dinner. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I should be free tomorrow. If anybody wants to do a stream together, I'd be more than happy to, depending on the time. You can either jump on my channel, jump on your channel, and we'll have fun. Talk about fish, talk about bugs. If you guys want to talk about airplanes, we talk about airplanes, talk about Alaska, whatever you'd like. So thanks, June. It means a lot. However, it's time to go. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your evening or morning, depending on what time it is where you're at. And we'll catch you later.